All right, how's it going? How's it going? This is Eddie Cruz for Trucking Master CDL Training. I'm gonna do this video real quickly because I want to emphasize something I just told the students, and this is actually for the new students that just came on board. And if you're an instructor, you can use this to train in your school. So this is a concept that is so simple that it gets overlooked a lot. So I'm gonna work on this. So all right. So basically, now the number one thing that new drivers do, students, is they actually look at the cones and they look at everything else but where they're going. All right. So basically, it doesn't make a difference if you're doing a school bus or a truck trailer or a Class B. All right. Now I'm gonna turn the camera around because I wanted you to see something real quickly. So well, I don't think I could do that. But anyways, so I'm gonna show you something. Okay. So let's take this cone right here. Okay. Let's take this cone right here. All right. Now the thing about this cone is if you actually, most of them, they look at the cone. But the one thing that they don't realize is that when you're actually looking at the cone, they go towards it. So that means that if they are in the yard and they actually know how to move, they got their permit, they know exactly how to make the trailer go left and right when they're backing up. You know, you ask them a question because the best quote I've ever seen on Facebook is that if you want to help somebody, hold up a mirror. So what I do is I help students realize what they're doing first before I can help them change it. So I help them realize that every single time the trailer is actually heading towards the cone, they're doing a good job on actually moving that vehicle towards the cone. And that's the reason why they're hitting it. But if they actually focus on somewhere around here next to the cone, somewhere around here, then they can actually move the vehicle around the cone if they actually focus on the cone. Because the number one thing that students tell me is that I'm worried I'm gonna hit it. But the thing is that you're so focusing on something that hasn't happened yet, instead of actually focusing on what needs to happen to get away from the cone. So I always tell them, think about how you're backing up your car. When you're backing up your car around spaces, you're not really looking at the cars next to you or the line, you're just focusing on the space in between the cars. Same concept you have to emphasize to the student is that you're doing a good job on moving that vehicle, but you're moving it to the wrong direction, which is towards a cone or anywhere else or the wall. Now I always tell them that the difference between someone that's got 20 years of experience and a student that has no experience, the only difference is that I focus on where I'm going, exactly where I'm going. Not the cone itself, not the cone, but around the cone, so that way I can move the vehicle around the cone. Okay? Think about that. Okay? And if you're in the students looking at me right now, understand this. Remember, for every action, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. If I'm looking at the cone, my vehicle, which I'm directing, is going to go towards it because that's where it's supposed to go, because that's where I'm looking at. Despite if you're looking at it to get away from it. If you want to get away from it or you want to drive around it, you don't have to look at the cone to drive around it. You can just go around it by looking around it. That's the only difference. That's it. Now, some people take it, oh, well, you've been doing it for 20 years and everything. That's so far from the truth. The truth is simple. I know what happens if I look at the cones. I hit it. If I look at a car, a building, I'm going to hit it because I'm the only conscious thing in that truck. Okay? So if you want to keep this simple and you're a student or you're an instructor, understand this. You help them realize what they're doing wrong. And once they realize what they're doing wrong, because they all want to be truck drivers, they will understand that. And then when you tell them how to do it, 99% of the times they will do it. But all of them, they start looking at the cones or the back of the trailer or the tires, something that has nothing to do with where you're going. All right? So understand that. To be a good instructor, you have to be able to show them what they're doing, help them realize that, and make them understand that what you're doing is not working. Okay? So understand this. If you're a student watching, focus on where you're going around the cone, around it. You are aware of the cone. You are aware of it because you're driving next to it. But don't look directly at it because that's going to make your hand subconsciously take the vehicle right towards it. As much as if you look around it, subconsciously you will take the vehicle around it into the spot given to you. There is no other way of doing this. When you come to that realization that all you have to look is where you're going, you will realize that you knew how to do it the whole entire time. And I hope you realize that. Again, once you realize that the only difference between an instructor and a student is that we know what happens when I move my eyes when I'm backing up a commercial vehicle. I'm going to go towards it. So I only focus on where I need to go. That's the only difference. It's not how long I've been doing it. It's the realization of what needs to be done at that given point. When you realize you and I will drive the exact same way, with you having zero experience and myself having 20 years. As an instructor, if you emphasize that and you show them that, you will have more progression students. They'll progress much faster, and your passing rate will go higher. All right, this is Eddie Cruz for Trucking Masters. I hope this helps you. If you want a specific video, you let me know. Share, subscribe, share it all over the place. Subscribe to it. I do videos all the time, as much as I can, honestly. Okay, but this is the truth. The truth is simple. Okay, focus on where you're going around the cones. If you're still at school, around the cones, focus on it, and the truck will do that. All right, Eddie Cruz for Trucking Masters. I'll see you around. I hope it helps you. All right, subscribe. All right, I'll throw some videos as much as possible. All right, drive safe out there.